here's a question for you. Why does a bride veil herself on her wedding day? To get to the answer, you have to look at this week's parsha of Chayei Sarah. Abraham, is looking for an appropriate wife for his son Isaac. And so he sends his servant to the land of Canaan to find someone. Isaac does. Rivka, Rebecca. A very beautiful woman, the Torah tells us, who puts the needs of others before her own needs. And when they return to Abraham and to Isaac, when Rivka sees Isaac for the first time, the Torah says she takes a veil and she covers herself. And the question is, why does she do this? Well, we know in the ancient Near East that a bride was known as a pusumtu, which is an Akkadian word for the veiled one. And so clearly there was an ancient custom that went beyond our own ancestors. But there's also a deeper level here. The veil is a symbol. It represents the bride's commitment to the groom, that there are going to be parts of herself, her physical self, but also her internal life that are going to be for him and his eyes only. And at the same time, the groom looking at his veiled bride is saying, I'm marrying you not just because you're beautiful, but for all of you, the entirety of your being. Now the Mishnah, which is the earliest compilation of Jewish law and dates back a couple thousand years, says that it is proof that a woman is getting married for the first time if she had what's called a henuma. The problem is, even our ancestors in the Talmud 1,500 years ago didn't know what that word meant. Some thought it was something more like a chuppah, whereas others thought it was a veil. And of course, we have both. It's also good advice for the groom to take a look at his bride before the veil is put on. We know in the Torah that Jacob married Leah instead of his intended bride, Rachel, because he didn't see her. So one should always look. These days, unfortunately, most of our interactions are digital. Often we use Zoom. We get to see each other, which is always my preference. But for videos like these and big events, as well as on Shabbat, we use the one-way live stream. You can see me, but I can't see you. That is to say, there is a kind of veiling happening. When I look into that camera, I try to be like the groom on his wedding day. In my mind's eye, I try to picture all of you. I imagine that I'm not really speaking to a camera, but rather to my congregation. Like a bride and a groom to each other on their wedding day. We here at Adat Israel continue to commit ourselves to you, the members of our wonderful shul, whether that's in person or at a distance. Shabbat Shalom.